good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS. This is awesome. We're a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 327. This show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. Before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS. This is awesome. And if you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorlist_81 and Mr. Jakesaw at Jakesaw at Jake Peters, Jakesaw01. I'm going to always fuck up the intro. As always, you can write the show at psisawesome@gmail.com. Most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to leave comments, rate our podcast as you see fit. And we're a video podcast as well, so you can watch us on our YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to that. And if you're new, if you've been around a while, I think it's time to put your money where your mouth is. We have a Patreon where you can support the show at $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the One and Only $1 Club. You can go to www.patreon.com/PS. This is awesome. For $1 a month, be a patron of our show. Get a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail. And a shout-out. Jake, how are you today?
I feel kind of crappy. I think it's just my allergies. We got a lot of pollen going on right now. The trees are all blooming, and I've had some really just gnarly, like sinus shit going on, and I've just been like coughing up stuff. And so that's never fun. But other than that, doing all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just got back from what I ran today. Subway this is not an advertisement. Subway once in a while has a buy one get one sub, which is really a good deal if you think about it. But you have to order it online and you have to use the coupon code. It's like FL BOGO, footlong BOGO. And you put one in the cart, you put two in the cart, at checkout, FL BOGO, boom, they only charge you for one, and you can go pick two up. It's great. So I had a sub for lunch, and I went for my run after work, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to grab the other sub out of the fridge at work. So I rushed back and got the sub, and I plowed that down, because I planned ahead, because I didn't want to have to make food before the podcast, because I knew we've got things to do maybe. So
Sure.
I ate for free, kind of, today. Dinner, at least.
Subway's one of those places that used to be so good, and now it's so hit or miss.
Yeah.
That it's like, honestly, it wouldn't bug me if the subs were still $5. But the fact that they're
$9,
like $10 now,
yeah, right,
and they're less good, and I get it's like inflation, yada yada yada, and all this crap. But like,
you can get a better sub at Sheetz.
You can get a 6-inch sub at Sheetz for $3, and it's probably better than the one you're going to get at Subway. Now you're not going to get like the bread and all that stuff, but it really boils down to whether or not you're into that. I ate it. There's a Gecko in Hermitage that has like all the food and everything. It's like a full-on Get-Go. Because the one in Meadville is just a gas station. There's no real food or anything there. And but I was in Hermitage for work, so I stopped there. And they have a... you're familiar with General Tso's chicken, even though you can't eat it?
I can have General Tso's tofu. Okay,
Jeez, that doesn't count.
That's so rude.
But you're familiar with the sauce.
Yes, I love it.
With the sauce. That's all that matters, right? So... They have a General Tso's sub, which is a sub that is fried chicken with General Tso's sriracha and spring rolls on a sub roll. So, like, imagine
it actually
fucking
sounds
fried
really
chicken
good
with just spring rolls on top of it. Put General Tso's and sriracha on it, and then just stick it inside of bread. That's what it was, and like all these subs like that, it was a little much. You know what I mean? It's like a little too much. Like, I feel like if it was a wrap, it would have been better. But the fact that it was a sub
with the bread,
it leaves a lot of like air pockets where you just get like breading soaked in sauce and like all this stuff. And it left a little bit to be desired. I mean, maybe there's a way you can modify it if you go there and say like, make me a wrap instead of a fucking sub. But I will say, These things are just like Sheetz has this kind of shit too, where you can get freaking burgers with mozzarella sticks on them and stuff.
Right.
It's just like
Onion rings in your burger. Yeah. Or in
it's
your
just
sub.
like the shame is there's no shame anymore with how Americans eat food. Like it's just like fuck it. Just get the burger, put the onion rings and the fucking cheese sticks on top of it. Smother the whole fucking thing on jalapenos and nacho cheese.
Cake it in mayo.
Throw some bacon on there, and then just eat it. It's a fucking 2,000 calorie sandwich, but who gives a fuck?
And here's some hot sauce packets to go.
Yeah. No wonder we're all fat as fuck.
But it's good.
We have to actually try.
But it's fucking good, though.
It is very good, but it's good because our brain tricks us into thinking it's good because we're all brainwashed.
I don't know.
If this was like 1950, we'd be eating like
celery sticks.
No, I just mean like everything would be higher quality and cheaper. Like you would be getting meat from like a freaking farm and vegetables that aren't covered in pesticides.
Yeah, the local fucking butcher. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
You know, and eggs that aren't pasteurized and like all this other shit. And it would, and like you would, when you go to the store and you bought breakfast, it would be like real food. It wouldn't be fucking Eggo waffles. Although this did exist a while ago. But
what
like,
about the waffle sandwiches where it's like a waffle on top and a waffle underneath and like a burger or something in the middle?
So, I mean, you think about like something like the McGriddle at what is it, McDonald's, where it's like literally, it's like waffles with syrup inside of them and then just as the bun for an egg sandwich, which to me is just insane. But I have had like occasionally you'll go to one of these places, like more of a crafty place that has some like, I don't know if you remember this because they didn't have it very long and you probably would have never had it, but Voodoo in Meadville for a very brief period of time had a chicken and waffle sandwich where it was literally chicken and waffles where waffles were the bun, it had fried chicken on it with syrup and like it was basically like a chicken and waffles, but it was a sandwich and it was very good. Chicken and waffles is one of those things where like I concede like it doesn't sound like it should go together, but it definitely does, kind of like pineapple pizza. But like, I don't know, man. It seems like Sheetz and Gecko, it's like an arms race as to who can make the most like insane, ridiculous, non-healthy fucking shit you can possibly imagine. Taco Bell's in there too with their fucking Doritos Locos Tacos.
I love
and all
it.
this crazy shit.
Yeah, dude. What about their nacho fries, which just came back? They're like fries.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good, but they're so bad. Like they're so bad for you. I had when I stopped at Gecko, I also had like they do like a side of waffle fries with nacho cheese, and so I got that obviously because you gotta, and
brainwashed.
You just like you eat it and you're just covered in grease and like you feel like crap. Like especially once you hit your mid-30s and stuff, you feel like dog shit after you eat it.
Yeah, but the
like,
act of eating it, you're like, oh, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you get it and you smell it and you're like, oh, God, I'm going to fucking house this. And then when you're done, you're literally in a fucking coma and you just feel like garbage and you have zero energy. And you're like, why the fuck did I do
People
this?
probably feel the same. People feel the same way about alcohol and fucking heroin and shit.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's an addiction.
Yeah, it's like, I feel great. I feel great when I'm doing it. It's like, it's the next morning that's the problem. When my body actually tells me, hey, you fucked up.
Like how you just compared eating waffle fries to doing heroin.
I mean, it'd be different
Pretty much
ends
the
of the same
thing.
spectrum, I think.
I know what you mean.
But like, dude, Kevin James has this fantastic stand-up joke about eating McDonald's when you're older and about how like you eat it and how good it is, but then you feel like a fucking bear that's been tranquilized right afterwards.
You do. It's all that sugar, dude.
Like it's
sugar and carbs.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I don't know. I mean, I guess we got on this because you were talking about Subway. Well, Subway is one of those places where it's like you can. There are good Subways, and then there are fucking ghetto ass Subways.
Yeah,
like they're a really interesting thing where they'll like franchise out to anyone. Doesn't matter. Like you have a freaking a garage in the ghetto, yeah, we'll give you a Subway franchise. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the subs that I get at Subway are obviously vegetarian, so there's not a whole lot where I can go wrong. You know what I mean? And I've been they've changed. If any of our listeners eat Subway and you've ever done the flatbread has now changed. It's less calories. It's lighter. It's airier. It's more of a wrap. It's like an in between of a flatbread and a wrap. I think they're probably saving ingredients somehow making this one. But
the old flatbread used to be so fucking good. I used to get it all the time because it was like really dense.
Yeah, this one's not.
And like it was like kind of like pizza dough almost. And man, it was so good. But dude, I don't know if you feel about this too, but I feel like a lot of the vegetables are fucking shit now. And you if you don't get to a Subway at a good time, like the lettuce is all fucking grody.
It's like fucking
and like
white and brown. And
I'll never, ever, ever get fucking tomatoes at a Subway.
Oh, they're always like hard in the middle.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
They're white or they're green or they're fucking hard or they're really mealy. Like it's just
they've been sitting in tomato juice for 2 days.
The shit that's been pickled isn't so bad, right? So like banana peppers, jalapenos, fucking pickles, like all that stuff is fine.
Yeah, the spinach is always good because they have to keep it fresh.
And the spinach is usually okay.
Cucumbers
the lettuce is
are good.
Generally okay. Cucumbers are okay. Sometimes they're like kind of see-through, like they've been sitting in there for a while.
Onions are always fine.
Onions are fine, yeah. But dude, onions must be the most expensive thing on the planet. Because I don't know if you ever go to Subway and you're like, I want onions, and they pull out like one strip of an onion and they stick it on there, and they're like, is that good?
Someone probably fucking sued them because they put too many onions on their sandwich or something.
I don't know, man.
But here's a pro tip. Here's a pro tip real quick for anybody who gets their subs to go that like to use red wine vinegar as a dressing. The Subway that I go to has ketchup packets that are red wine vinegar. So you don't get it on the sandwich and then take it back to work or take it to eat because by the time you dig in, it's like soggy. So you ask for the packets. And if you like the vinegar on there because it's super low cal and it's flavorful, which is what I do. I don't even do oil, just do vinegar on it. It's so good. Get the packets. They'll give you like 3 or 4, and then you save 2, and then you save 2. And you know what? You know how expensive olive oil is these days. What the hell? Ask for some oil packets, and then when you're out at the house, just fucking cook your shit with that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pro tip, but anyways. We don't need to keep talking about Subway, dude. But yeah, I had Subway today, and it was good. And I did get around to playing one more quest of Cursed City with my brother, and that was fun. We had not played it in a very long time. We got back into that game, and that was a good time. And you and I once in a while talk about like the Games Workshop shit, but they, the magazine White Dwarf? Jake? No. You don't know what that is? It's a Games Workshop magazine. It's like Nintendo Power, but it's for Games Workshop shit. So like they give like battle reports of, and then a lot of times they'll give you expansion material in this magazine, and they're so crazy about it that like it's like cards that you punch out that you can use in your games and stuff. So like it's really cool. So and then White Dwarf is the name of the magazine, but it's also a character they created who's the White Dwarf, and it's this dwarf with like this white beard, and like he's apparently mythical at this level at this time, or in their world or whatever. But they're coming out with White Dwarf issue 500 in May this month. And it's kind of hard to get a hold of, but I ordered the miniature. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs, but they have released a version of the White Dwarf. And I've been playing Cursed City. You guys know that I like that as well as Hero Quest. And he's going to have a character card for Cursed City. So you buy the miniature, you paint them, and then you can use them with your Cursed City game. So I have so much money wrapped into Cursed City, it's fucking ridiculous. If you ever want to get into a Games Workshop game, just expect to spend a couple $100. Like that's just how it is. And then just hope that you can find people to play it with because they are not fucking cheap. But it's stupid the way Cursed City kind of failed. I'll give the listeners a quick rundown on it. So they came out with the base game, and it came with like a lot of miniatures, and it came with the rule, everything you need to do to play the game. And all the miniatures were awesome. And I think it retailed at like $150. Okay, that seems fair, right? That seems fine. I mean, because you could to buy like 5 goblins from Games Workshop is like $50. So this thing came with like, I don't even know, like 25, 30 miniatures, including heroes and stuff, and tons of cards and game board pieces. So $150, that's actually a pretty good deal considering you could buy it and then sell off these miniatures. Like I could sell one of them for like $50 right now if I wanted to, and I have like 30 of them. So anyways, they released the base game, and then they're like, oh, we're going to do expansions. And then they released this expansion, but it doesn't come with any fucking miniatures, just cards. But it's like you have to have these miniatures to play it. But they don't sell a box set of the miniatures you need for the expansion. They sell like 5 different sets of miniatures that include the miniatures you need. So like the expansion costs like $45. And then you need like the ghouls, you need the fucking dire bats, you need the fucking wolves, you need the blah, blah, blah miniatures. By the time you buy all that shit, you're $250 in just for the expansion. And it's like, that's fucking stupid. But people eat this shit up. So thank God I have a 3D printer. So needless to say, I bought both the expansions so I can get all the cards. I'm just going to proxy all the fucking shit. So it's just crazy how they run their business. And I just got an email from Games Workshop recently that was like, oh, due to inflation, we're raising our prices. And they're based in fucking Europe or some shit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like if you're into that miniature game lifestyle, you're probably better off just buying a 3D printer and figuring it out on your own than like downloading models online than just buying the miniatures, because they're so freaking expensive.
They are so expensive.
And it's not, I mean, it seems like every miniature game is like that. It's not just the ones that you're talking about.
Right. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
And I would understand if it was still, if these were still like the cast pewter figurines and all this shit. They're literally they're just molded plastic.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about them.
Well, here's the interesting thing about the Games Workshop miniatures now, and I don't think they used to be like this, but you have to fucking assemble them. So that they literally, each miniature is like a Lego kit, where it's like you have these like little fucking models that you got to super glue, which like would probably be a deterrent to some people, but some people fucking love fucking scraping off the little bits and making sure they're really perfectly smooth and fucking putting it together perfectly. It's like fucking bonsai tree shit. And then like, fuck man, I don't know. Like I have a couple. Here. You probably won't even be able to see it, but I bought this guy. I don't know if you can see that dude or not, Jake.
Yeah.
So I bought this dude. He's the listeners won't be able to. Anyways, he's like this little wizard guy, right? I looked, because his card that you get matches this fucking pose. It's this guy, right? And you want it to fucking be, if you're fucking OCD about shit, sometimes you just want to have the fucking guy. And there are 3D designers that go out there and try to replicate some of this shit. Couldn't find one for this guy. Got this guy for like $20 online. And it's like, why would I pay fucking $20 for this guy? But I wanted him so bad because I think I tried to find a proxy for him and I just fucking couldn't. And I was like, I just have to fucking have it. Because I've looked at him probably like, God, I don't know, like 15 times, like on eBay, just looking for like a fucking opened one or something. Because sometimes you'll just get them on the sprue with no instructions or a box, which is fine, or already assembled. I don't give a fuck. I don't even fucking care if he's painted. Better. As long as it's half decent looking. But like, yeah, I just kind of want to have. But anyways, dude, long story short, I got back into Curse City and I bought, with White Dwarf 500, I bought the new White Dwarf Mini, which is actually fucking dope. I don't know if you saw it. If you could look up a picture of him. I forget what his name is. Just look up White Dwarf 500. You'll see. His name is Groombrindle or something. I don't know what he is, dude. I don't know his name. His name's not Groombrindle. It's something like that. Grombrindle or something. Anyways, it's a cool pose. They're selling them for $34 on different sites, but he's like standing on like a corpse of an ogre or something. He's got his fucking battle axe up and his beard's waving. And he looks so fucking cool. So, I don't know. I will give it to Games Workshop. And my buddy Mike, he paints minis as well. Dude, there is something to be said about the quality, like the way the paint rests on these things that like, and like just the, like, if you really get deep, as with anything, like there are differences. So like, if you want to save money, just get a fucking 3D printer and print them. But like, if you want to have a miniature that like is posed in such a way that like it's fun to actually paint, and it's like there's not so much detail that it's obnoxious, but there's not like so little that like it doesn't look good. Dude, Games Workshop fucking, they've got the best minis, hands down.
I mean, they've got a high resolution mold and they have access to better plastic, but it's like they're printing fucking thousands of these things. So their cost is like nothing.
Right.
I'm sure it probably is expensive to get those molds made because they're so intricate, but dude, man, come on.
Yeah. No, I mean,
they're preying on you nerds because there aren't a ton of you out there.
You're not wrong, man. You are not wrong. Well, I'm going to import on the video real quick this guy I was painting because he's so fucking rad. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Image. We'll just name him fucking, I don't know, Cursed City Guy. Oh, it said it failed. Let me resend it. Oh, my Bluetooth is off. This is half the problem. So, yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm working on this guy. This is one of the expansion dudes. You'll be able to see him in a second. Here we go. Options. Show. Okay, so it's 66432 is the name of the image. Hold on, folks. I'm going to bring this right to the YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to enjoy this. I think, Jake, you might have been in the chat that I sent it to. I don't even know. Are you in the Hero Quest chat that I have going on? Or are you no longer in it?
No.
Well, that sucks for you.
I don't need to see it. Let's just talk about games.
I want to see it. Go ahead. You can talk about games. What games we're playing is where we're at next. So I'll put it up on the screen in a minute, folks. I'm still playing Trek to Yomi. I'm not doing anything fantastic. I am in chapter 20 or chapter 2 now. And haven't made much progress, man. Summer is among us, and I got my stairs fixed out front. So that was a big project recently, and I feel good about that. But outside of that, there's really, I've not really been doing anything game-wise. Jake, how about yourself?
I've just been playing Fallout 4, and I'm liking it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been as big of a Fallout fan as the Elder Scrolls. The world is so, the concept is interesting, but like the aesthetic is so bland and boring to me.
Right.
And like there's like, to me, I get some people dig this, but like the fact that I'm so far into the game or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and my character still looks like he's wearing fucking rags and like a baseball helmet and like a, freaking cooking mitts for gloves and like it's like, why does it have to be like this? I get that we're in the post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
But maybe, you could give me some, or at least let me craft some armor that looks, dude, if I was in fucking, think about it. If you were in freaking the post-apocalypse, don't you think you could come up with something better than just like, it's like some fucking 80s movie where the kid grabs the football helmet out of the closet because they need to protect themselves. Or it's like, come on. Let me, I don't know. Like I got to Diamond City, which is the main kind of, it's like, it's in Fenway Park is basically what it is in Boston. And like all of the guards, mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember, but all of the guards are literally just wearing catcher's gear. Like that's their armor. Oh
yeah.
Is like fucking catcher's gear. And I'm like, okay, I get the shtick, but like these dudes look like douchebags.
Yeah.
I just want to fucking shoot them.
Jesus.
And like the Raiders have the coolest armor because they have like all these fucking
spikes,
like rebar protrusions and all this gnarly shit.
Yeah.
And anyway, so but I've been enjoying it. I mean, am trying to play it a little bit differently. Like I typically don't do this, but I put most of my stats into like charisma and like and stuff like that. So I'm not playing non-violent or anything, but I'm trying to lead more by like persuasion, and then just having a couple other things like crafting, and then like maybe automatic weapons, so I can use like auto pistols and stuff. But I'm not doing like, typically I would do a lot of sneaking and hacking and fucking, you know, strength and assault rifles and shit like that. And I don't know. I don't know how long I'll stick with it. I am still considering either jumping into Stellar Blade or maybe Jedi Survivor. But right now I'm kind of having fun playing Fallout. So I'm just going to keep playing that for a little bit. I'm still in the mood for it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that game that I forgot too. I mean, I remember the main story. I think the main story in that game's kind of meh. But the whole Institute thing is like, the idea of the synths is cool, and it starts out really neat with like the whole Nick Valentine thing, who I think is a really neat character. But once you get into like the crux of it and you go to the Institute and all that crap, and I don't know, it isn't. I don't think it's just kind of like whatever. It doesn't grab me as much. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. I like you. I haven't played a ton of games this week, but I am still enjoying Fallout.
Yeah.
But I'm in like a weird space with gaming. Like I would be totally open to some people just suggesting things that I should try that aren't fucking roguelikes, big box. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe, dude, I've got like this weird itch to play a Star Wars game. So I'm kind of leaning Jedi Survivor, but I don't know. I mean, I still do really want to play Stellar Blade. It just, the game kind of intimidates me a little bit, like I said last week. So I'm not really sure, but
it intimidates you just like because it looks like it's a lot, or
I know that the combat requires thought and there's challenge to it because it's technical. And I just like, I get to a point in some games where I just want to fucking button mash.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, it doesn't seem like that's the kind of game that this is.
Right.
It seems like you have to be on your toes all the time. Not like to the extent of a Dark Souls or something. But like, it's still built that way. And just based on what I played in the demo. So I don't know. I mean, I still definitely want to play it. I'm not jumping on as quickly as I thought I might. And to be completely fair, in a couple weeks, Hellblade 2 comes out. So I'm probably just going to play, and I know that's not super relevant to this podcast because it's an Xbox game, but I'm probably just going to hang on Fallout 4 until that comes out so I can play that. I think that game's only supposed to be like 8 or 10 hours long, so it's not going to be a super long experience. But the first game was fucking awesome. And you didn't play it, right, Fred?
No, I never did. Nope.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that at least right now you won't have access to the second one, but I still think the first game is worth playing. It is very unique and interesting.
Yeah.
But anywho, that's where I'm at.
All right, well, very good. Well, I did post a picture on our YouTube channel. You saw me screwing around with that while Jake was talking. I also sent Jake a picture of this awesome fucking dude. But yeah, dude, so it is fun to paint these things. It's kind of cathartic to do, and I've gotten pretty okay at it. Anywho, every episode we talk about news, and we have some... Dude, I might have gotten word of this news before most people. It's not good news, you know, but there were some more studio closures, and this is interesting. Tango Gameworks, responsible for The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush. Arkane Austin, who did Redfall and the Prey series, were closed down. And then jobs within Bethesda Publishing and corporate teams are being cut. And then Alpha Dog Games and Roundhouse Studios are joining ZeniMax Online Studios. So this is like a big deal. So this hit,
dude. This sucks because there is something great from every one of these. Well, I don't know about Alpha Dog and Roundhouse. Those are sort of outside of my wheelhouse as far as like the types of games that they make. I was just looking them up, and I don't really know much about them. But as far as Tango goes, I loved Evil Within 1, really liked Evil Within 2, and I also really liked Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush. All of those games are fucking great. Every game that they made is at least great. Some of them, I would say probably of all of them, the best in terms of just like what I would say pure quality might be Hi-Fi Rush, which is coincidentally their most recent game. But I really, really liked all of them. I thought The Evil Within was such a great spiritual successor to Resident Evil. Ghostwire Tokyo was such an interesting concept of like, you know, you being this like half possessed fucking dude with these ghost powers.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously we just talked about Hi-Fi being like a rhythm action platformer game, which was really cool. Arkane Austin, I have no comments about Redfall because I never played it, but the Prey game was fucking lit. Like, they're talking about the reboot, not the original Prey that was on PC and shit way back when.
Right.
That game was also dope, but that was somebody else. I think I don't remember who did that. But the reboot from, when was this? This is probably 4 or 5 years ago now. It was on PS4. It was so good. It was like this weird BioShock meets Dishonored or something in space. Like it was really, really cool. And then you know, obviously, like I said, I didn't have anything else to say about the other two studios, but it's actually shocking to me that they're closing Tango. I can understand them closing Arkane because Redfall was such a disaster, but the Tango Gameworks games, The Evil Within and Ghostwire and Hi-Fi, all those were great games. So I don't really understand that one so much. Plus, that's their only studio in fucking Japan. You would think that Microsoft would want to keep that door open, but I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't read the press release or anything, so I don't know. I'm assuming they're just claiming costs or some bullshit, but like,
right.
It's kind of what happens whenever you're a huge company like Microsoft and you own fucking 50 studios or whatever the hell it is, 40 studios, and now that you've made the biggest purchase in Microsoft history, all their shareholders are like, "What have you done for me now?" And so they're like, "Well, guess we got to appease the powers that be. We got to close some studios down to make ourselves look profitable." And that fucking sucks. Because I don't know. Why Tango? There are other studios that they have that have flopped worse than them. So it's so unfortunate to me, because I understand that this hits a little bit closer to home for me because I have played a lot of these games. And I have an Xbox, so I have the availability to be able to play a lot of these games too. But I don't know. This would be the equivalent of something like, I'm trying to think of something on the Sony side. Maybe something like Bend shutting down, like after making Days Gone, where it's like Days Gone was not a bad game.
No, it was good.
It just didn't, you know, it wasn't just this smash 9 out of 10 fucking Sony.
Dude, I played
standard.
it on PS5 and it was awesome.
I've heard it's great. Honestly, like, since they fixed the performance issues, my understanding is that the only problem with the game is that it gets a little bit long in the tooth with some of the running around you have to do at the end. But other than that, I've heard it's a great, fun game, and sometime I would like to maybe try it if I'm bored.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just so. It's just really sad for me to see, honestly.
Yeah, it's really kind of a bummer, man, and it's just weird. Not the studios that you think you would see get shut down, really, I think is just the thing. And I think it's just restructuring again, which happens all the time in the video game world. You know what I mean? There's nothing that like, it's not like they're closing Jackfruit Games, right? Some weird fucking game company you never heard of. Like these games, like you said, like there's a lot being lost here. Like what happens to these IPs? Do we get another Evil Within? Do we get a Ghostwire Tokyo 2? Do we get another Hi-Fi Rush? Do we get another Prey? Who knows? These studios are now gone. So
I could see of all of those, the only one I could see maybe coming back the most would be probably Hi-Fi Rush, because it has the most like immediate. It had the most immediate stirring in the community. Yeah, it didn't sell gangbusters, but that's because they dropped it on Game Pass day one, and it was a shadow drop. It didn't have any marketing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was an experiment for them. And I mean, people that have listened to the show know that like since that game came out, I've said nothing but how awesome it is. And I know that, like I said, this is until recently, it hasn't been available to PlayStation gamers, but I still think that people should give it a shot. I know that the rhythm portion of it might throw some people off, but it's not that you have to maintain rhythm. It's that when you do, it gives you bonuses and shit like that, and like adds all this special sauce to the gameplay. And it like in all of the everything you do, from like the walking around to the climbing to the attacks and all this shit, like it all syncs to the music, and it makes the game just feel fucking great. So I don't know. Anyway, a little bit of a diatribe, but
well, it is what it is, right? So something else happened on the Helldivers 2 front recently, and we don't need to dive into the whole freaking kit and caboodle here, but it's out on Steam. And Sony had implemented or imposed a requirement to have a PSN ID to play the game on Steam or something. And it immediately had tons of blowback for that action, for that thing. And it got review bombed, like just fucking torn apart, because that's how the fucking game community is, because heaven for fucking bed. You know, and I do agree that it's kind of bullshit. The game was doing really well. Why would you do that to the studio? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, people are playing it on Steam for a reason. But anyways, after the review bomb, Sony kind of retracted that requirement and alleviated it and got rid of it. And then all of a sudden, like 200,000 positive reviews for the game just show up out of nowhere. And it's kind of funny because a user or somebody, I don't really know the whole story, but the Helldiver capes are always kind of obtuse in a way where like they're just shapes and stuff, but someone took the graph of the negative review scores like on a bar chart going up and down, like, and they turned it into a design for the Helldiver cape. I don't know if they're actually going to make it, but it would be fucking hilarious if they made that a cape design.
It looks like a hunter cape for Destiny. Like it's cool. It actually is a pretty cool design. I gotta say though, like I understand people not wanting to have a PlayStation ID to play this game, but like, is it really worth getting that sucked off about it? Because to me it's like, dude, if you sign in with your PlayStation ID, like, I don't know, maybe like if you can earn trophies and shit like that, that's kind of cool to me.
Well, dude, here's my take.
I don't know. It should be optional.
All that this does and all that this proves is that if you're a squeaky fucking wheel and you're a loud ass and you're a loud mouth and you bitch about things that you think are not right, you might get your way. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I
think it's the
PC
right call,
is,
dude,
though,
for Sony to roll this back. To be clear, I think it is the right call.
Yeah, I think it should be optional. It shouldn't be required. But if I, like, as someone who has a PlayStation heritage, if I was playing this game on PC, I'd want to log into my PSN account, because then, like, I assume that there's some sort of trophy syncing or something like that.
Yeah.
With at least the PS5 version.
Yep.
And that would be kind of cool, because then I could bounce back and forth between my PS5 and my PC, and I could still earn trophies and still get credit and all this shit. Still have access to my friends list, I hope. I don't know anything about how it works, so maybe all this shit, none of it's available. But, like, it seems to me like it should at the very least be an optional thing, though, and not required. Because when they require stuff like this, it's the same crap as, like, Ubisoft putting their games on Steam, and when you boot the game up in Steam, it then boots up the Uplay Ubisoft launcher and then runs the fucking game.
Right.
Because they want you to use their launcher, even though you're booting it from Steam. And it's like, guys, can we fucking relax with this shit? Like, one of the things people always talk about, like, oh, I love Steam, I love Steam, I love Steam, I love Steam. I love Steam too. But, like, remember when you can just download a fucking game and install it on your computer and play it, and you didn't have to have any launcher? Remember when you could, like, buy a disc from the store and install it on your computer and play the game, and you didn't need Steam or any fucking launcher? What happened to that shit?
Yeah, what happened, huh?
Like, I'm not even a big, like, physical games guy. I don't use physical games at all on my PlayStation. It's all digital. But, like, to me, it seems so weird that on PC, especially because it's such a ubiquitous platform, like, why aren't these companies... Dude, if I was freaking EA, I would just, like, have a store on my website, and you can just download the fucking game. If you pay for it, you download the fucking game to your computer, and then maybe you have to log in whenever you play it or whatever. But, like, dude, then you don't have to have Steam or anything. But I get that it's like, oh, having your library is kind of cool. But it's like, yeah, I guess, but now fucking Valve owns all of your shit. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. To be clear, I love Steam. I've been on Steam since it launched in 2004 with Half-Life 2. So I like Steam a lot. But I do, like, I've always been on this show very vocal about, like, why do people even do physical games anymore? It's stupid. But at the same time, I've softened on that over the years, where I'm like, I think you should be able to play your games any way you want to. Like, I should be able to play my copy of Helldivers without having a Steam account. And I should be able to play, you know, whatever, like, I get that there's all this DRM shit, and that just makes it easier, whatever. I don't know. This is a big digression. But, yeah, don't, like, force people to fucking log into stuff. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's move on. So we're going to talk briefly about Media Molecule. So Media Molecule, the studio behind Little Big Planet and Dreams. And they're also behind Tearaway. They have been kind of historically known as making games that you can make games inside of. So word from their co-founder recently states that, you know, the developer has a new project and it's more of a game than a tool. I don't know, man.
I'd certainly fucking hope that it's a game and not a tool, period. Because it's been 1,000 years since we've gotten a game out of Media Molecule. And the last time they made a tool, in quotes, it almost destroyed the studio. Fuck, man, just
make
maybe it's gonna be
game.
maybe it's gonna be like a Little Big Planet kind of situation where it's like, okay, it's a game, but there's like a level creator or something, or like you know, maybe like Doom 2016 or something where, yeah, it's a fucking game, but there's this optional, scenario builder if you want it or whatever.
Dude,
But here's the way I think about it. It's like, just build the fucking game and release it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Instead of building the game and all of this fucking other shit and having it take 5 years. And I get that, like, maybe they're building the tools so they can make the game.
Well, they
and
need
so
to
that
make
makes
some
things
money.
easier,
is
and then
what
why
they
not
need to
just
do.
give it to you and like yada yada yada. And if that's the case, then okay, I suppose I can understand. It's kind of cool that they include the tools in the game. It's kind of like when you bought like Unreal and stuff, and you could get like the Unreal Engine and or like when you would buy StarCraft back in the day, it came with like a level editor and shit. Like that's like the editor they used to make the maps. Like that's fucking cool. But it's like, who is using this? I guess that they want to stick with that like user generated content kind of model, and I suppose that makes sense, especially if you're doing like a live service model where it's like, why not just have the users make the content for the live service rather than us having to support it constantly with our own internal labor? I get that model, but bro, we got to see a fucking game. Like straight up. That's what I got to see a game. Otherwise, like I'm not buying anything from you. So,
This is a bad analogy.
Way
but
too ramped up version or thoughts on it.
It's kind of like when you go to. There's a few memes like it's like when you're playing a show with other bands, and it's like the band waiting to go on stage as soon as the other band stops, and they're like just fucking taking their sweet ass time, and it's like, get your drums off the stage. Here, let me help you. It's like, do you need a hand here? Here, let me grab that cab with you. Because if they're a good band, then like a lot of the audience is coming up and trying to talk with them and stuff, and they're trying to get the show off stage. But then it's also kind of like the drummer that shows up that doesn't have his kit ready, and it's just like, come on, man, play some fucking music. They're like 25 minutes into their set, and the drummer's like just now starting to do like a fucking snare check. Hit the thing. They got all these fucking rack toms. They think they're fucking Neil Peart or something, and they've just got like 15 cymbals, and like all they do is, I don't know, play fucking.
You know what it's more like, if you want to keep with the music analogy? It would be like Tom Petty after coming out with Damn the Torpedoes is like, you know what? I'm going to make a DAW for computers.
I don't know.
And
maybe it's kind of like that. Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
And then it's like people are like, no, we want a fucking Tom Petty album.
Yeah.
We don't want you to make tools that I can use to make music. I want you to make the fucking music that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. He
comes out with like his
I get
own
it.
guitar
It was
line.
cool. What's that?
He comes out with like his own guitar line, and that's all you see him do is promote this thing, and no one wants it. He's like, you have to buy the Tom Petty signature series. But yeah, man,
it's
I don't know.
It's freaking it's fun. I don't know. I know obviously it's
I'm just tired of waiting
about it, but I just want to see what they got. I want to see what they got. That's not because like you have to imagine that they've lost so much talent that just wanted to make games. And they've spent the last 10 years building a fucking interface for other people to make games.
Yeah, for sure.
Like maybe I just want to make a game. Maybe I want to make a Little Big Planet game or the next Tearaway or whatever the fuck other, creative little cute game is that they're going to make.
I think it would be awesome if their next game was like a survival horror game, and it was just
I was just thinking
terrifying.
that. Like, what if it was just like some super fucking hard M-rated game?
Yeah. There's like
that'd be awesome.
People getting beheaded and shit, and like just disgusting, gross, morose stuff would be so cool. It has like their Media Molecule logo. It's like Sackboy comes out of the intro of the game. Sackboy. or something like stupid. I don't know. And then it's just like the scariest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. All right. I doubt it. It's probably something really cute. Let's move on. Hades 2. I still have an unopened PS5 version of Hades that I got for $5 on clearance at Walmart. Haven't played it. But Hades 2 is in early access now. And apparently right now, the ones who are able to talk about it are saying that this is a fucking huge jump up from the last game. And they're stoked. So this is Supergiant making this. I think this is the only sequel they've ever made. So they've gone back to the well on this one.
I mean,
did you play Hades or no?
I did. I played it for a little while, but it's a roguelike, and it lost me after about the 10th fucking time trying to run through the same goddamn boss. Like, yeah. I mean, the thing is that the game is really cool, and they do add little flashes of, like, narrative every single time you die, which is really neat.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a Supergiant game, and Supergiant makes nothing but fantastic games. I mean, Bastion was fucking amazing. Transistor was fucking amazing. I never played Pyre, but I heard it was pretty good too. So, yeah, I just think that, you know, it might be worth giving a shot. I'm not really sure though. I might have to jump back into Hades and give it a try again.
I want to play it. I bought it.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't want to recollect the same crap over and over again. I don't want to fight the same boss over and over again. It's not even like...
Do you fight the same boss in Hades over and over again?
You fight the same bosses over and over again. Yes. It's a roguelike. It's like, oh, you get to the first boss, you die. You get to the first boss, you beat him. Now you're on to the second area. It's like, cool, get to the second boss, you die. Go back to the first area, beat the first boss again, get to the second area. It's just... It's like, okay, I don't know. Dude, I'm not going down this fucking rabbit hole again.
So you're saying it's just like Returnal?
No, well, yeah, it is. But I will say that, like, there is a special sauce, kind of like Returnal. There is a special sauce to Hades, though, that makes it different.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people that don't typically like roguelikes do really like Hades. And... it did stick out to me as something special. I just don't have the patience for it. So you might really dig it. So I definitely think it's worth it for you to try out.
I mean, I have it. I have the game. So I will. I'm just not going to play it right now. Sure. Hades 2 apparently is supposed to be doing good things, people. Moving on. In more news that I'm not super stoked about hearing, Jake, and I don't know if you saw this or not. Now, it makes me wonder if this was part of the reason for the pushback on the release date on this game. But Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 is apparently leaking to have a PvP multiplayer mode. It's not been confirmed by the studio, but there was a YouTube channel that claims to have the official artwork for the game, the art book, months ahead of when it's scheduled to release on September 8th, and they're saying that there is mention of PvP.
I think that's kind of cool, if I'm being honest with you. Not because I want to play it, but because it reminds me, depending on how they... Dude, if it's like a pack-in multiplayer mode, that just is like... They're really... To me, that means that they're encapsulating that PS3 era fucking energy where it was like dope single player game with just a PvP mode if you want to play with your friends and fight each other. But it's not like this live service bullshit where you're, you know, being force-fed crap constantly, yada, yada, yada. We're not supporting it for 100 years. It's like, hey, here's this mode that's a part of this game as side content, but it's not the focus of the game. And if you just want to fucking cut your friends up with a chainsaw blade, then go for it. But I I don't know. I mean, we'll have yet to see what this is like, but this reminds me a lot of like, I mean, you remember all these games like Uncharted 2 multiplayer, shit like that, where it's like you play the main story, you love it, and then you're like, hey, I'll jump into this for a few hours just to check it out, and you end up having a good time, but you don't stick with it for months and months and years.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it like that, I'm okay with it. But if it's going to be one of these things where it's like the fucking menu is riddled with microtransaction-y ads and all this bullshit for the multiplayer mode and all this crap, then it's like, okay, I want none of that. But if it's just like an extra mode, like you boot up the main menu and it's like single player, multiplayer settings, I'm like, all right, I'm okay with that. That seems fine.
Yeah,
but
I just
we'll see. They're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a hard time fucking containing themselves though. If they're adding multiplayer, they're gonna want to add all this other shit into it.
Well, they might want to, but I really think that like, I don't know. I guess the way my brain works is like, if you needed more time for the single player, I hope that's what you worked on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you can always add a multiplayer mode down the road, but like if you needed more time, then I hope you did what you're supposed to do during that time and not got fucking distracted by someone dangling money in front of your face saying, well, if you just do the multiplayer mode, you know, and then they rush this thing out. So who knows? Maybe the single player mode was all ready to rock and roll, and this is why they took extra time. I don't know. I think it's weird. They had never mentioned anything about PvP though. And now that the art book's out, it mentions it. So it's not out, it leaked. But anyways, enough. I'm going to keep talking. I don't know, dude. I hate taking these fucking notes. It breaks up my flow, my train of thought. I'm not good at doing these notes. These timestamps. Defiant, which is the Ubisoft free-to-play, whatever, shooter, is coming out this month on PlayStation 5. And I don't know how anybody feels about it, but people who had tried it, got hands-on with it, have all kind of indicated that, you know, it might find the struggle bus to get noticed. I mean, the serviceable was fine, but it's just another fucking game. But one of the things that's kind of interesting about it is I think that you can play as one of the factions in the Division.
Here's the thing. This is like one of the stupidest fucking names.
Defiant. Yeah.
Why? Who's gonna want to buy this? Like, who's like, hey man, you gonna play Defiant this weekend?
They're just gonna call it X.
It's so freaking like, it's like so early 2000s. It's cringe. Like I don't really know what
they should have just either called it X or called it Defiant.
It's like a freaking, you know, high school kid from 2002 what they thought about calling their fucking hardcore band. That's like what they named it from. That's like, bro, what are you doing here?
It's like
you just
Static
picked
X.
two random shits and like stuck them together, and that's your name for this game that's been in development for a gazillion years?
Yeah.
Come on. Call it something else. Call him like Shooty McShooterson. That would be better than fucking Defiant. You could have come up with anything other than that name. I don't know. I have no desire to play this game. It's like multiplayer, whatever. I don't give a shit. But and it's probably gonna flop because there's no way that this game doesn't die on the vine. But it's possible that it doesn't, and maybe it's good. But it is gonna be free to play, so I don't know. It might be worth. It's Ubisoft, and their games usually shoot okay. So. Maybe it'll be fun to play. I don't know. It's free to play first person shooter. That's kind of neat. So
I just think about the time.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah, dude, I just think about the time it must take to develop these things, and then you just send them off to die. It's just like, it's got to be. I mean, I think it sucks when you put out an album and you sell like 100 copies, and it's like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, man, that's it. But you know, success is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe they learned a lot. Maybe the studio, we're talking like it already fucking failed, but it's just got, I mean, they put years and years and years of day in and day out clocking on a clock to make these things. And I just can't imagine how it must feel to lose when you have so much time and effort put into one of these things. I just, and there's so many games. There's too many fucking games. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, 2 more news points. Deliver Us Mars. More bad, sad news. The developer is Keoken Interactive. They laid off their entire team recently. So they had Deliver Us the Moon, and then they had Deliver Us Mars, which is a PS Essential game. I think you can get that if you don't have it already. But they laid them off because there's no publishing options for them. They don't have a publisher. So you very well can't be a studio and have no way to release your game. So I really loved Deliver Us the Moon. I thought it was a good game. In fact, I think I didn't do a review, but I talked about it on the show, I think. But I have Deliver Us Mars downloaded. And it's kind of a bummer to hear this because they weren't like a big studio, but I think that their game was good. I haven't played Deliver Us Mars, but I hear it was a little better than Deliver Us the Moon, and it is what it is, man. It's just it's a real difficult landscape to exist in and be successful, I think. But if you are successful, it's like music, man. Like if you're successful, you're fucking rolling in it and you're good. And if you're not, you're fucking struggling. You know what I mean? And it's got to be a labor of love. So, anyways, they laid off the whole team.
That sucks. I've never played these games, but I've heard, I know, like you say, that
they're good.
Deliver Us the Moon was good, and I just don't know. It just sucks to see a team like this that was making something a little bit different get canned, which is unfortunate.
Especially a studio that was trying to build some lineage, right? It wasn't like, okay, we did a game, it was fine, we're going to do a different kind of game. It was like, no, we're going to add to the story. It was like kind of like we're propelling a thing, you know what I mean? It was a focused idea. Anyways, PS Plus Essential Games. Jake, you just put this news point on. Deliver Us Moon. Okay, what time is it? 02:39. We're getting some Essential Games. Are these for May? Are these May games?
Yep.
Okay, so we're getting EA Sports FC 24, Ghost Runner 2, awesome, hard. We're getting Tunic, which is great. I heard great things about that game, and we're getting Destiny 2 Lightfall. That's a good lineup of games.
I was gonna say that's a pretty legit lineup for this month. I'm actually stoked about it. I'll definitely be saving all of these to my library because Ghost Runner 2 I think might be a little bit difficult. I think it's like it seems like one of those games that would be tough to play with a controller just because it's how fast paced and frenetic it is. I'm always a sucker, like every so often, for a soccer game.
Hell yeah.
So I might be interested in playing EA Sports FC 24. And the fact that we're getting the most recent release for free on Essential is pretty wild. Tunic, I've heard, is a really great game. It looks really cute. It was out on Game Pass for a while. I never played it, but I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's a little bit difficult, but it's like a Zelda-inspired kind of isometric, little cutesy action RPG kind of game. And then Destiny 2 Lightfall. I don't think that people really enjoyed the Lightfall expansion. However, leading into the final shape, which comes out in a couple months, or next month maybe, if you want to catch up, the fact that they're just handing it to you for free, why the hell not? The imagery was really cool with Lightfall. Like that guy with like the fucking like cloud or like smoke head and like all the neon colors, and it was very like the imagery was very cool with it. I just think that people were kind of meh on the story.
Right.
So we'll have to see. But I think overall this is a really great lineup for the month of May.
Good. I agree with you. I think another win for Sony on that one. And lastly, Jake, you have that Returnal is getting a trade paperback comic coming out in October 23, 2024. Again, Dark Horse Studios releasing all these fucking video game comics. And Fallen Asteria is what it's going to be called. So that's kind of interesting. I never beat Returnal, but I like the idea of this. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, I'm interested in it too. Like, I'm not like a big comic book person. Quite frankly, they just kind of confuse me. But I enjoy, like, I've talked on the show a bit about how this past year I picked up and read The Last Ronin, the TMNT comic, and I also picked up The Killing Joke, and I enjoyed both of those quite a bit. I can't jive with these things where you gotta like go pick up your fucking stack of comics every month and like stay on the teat forever and like all this shit, and like, but if you give me like a single comic that's like like this is like 88 pages, I think, and it's like one comic tells a story and it's done, like I can jive with that.
Right.
So, and I loved Returnal. And so I might actually give this a whirl when it comes out in October. But I don't know. I was kind of curious what your thoughts were just on video game comics in general, because I know the only one that I ever really got into, and this was just briefly, was the Tomb Raider comic that came out after the original Tomb Raider, but before, the reboot, and before Rise of the Tomb Raider came out. And I don't remember how many issues of that before I canceled my subscription for it. But other than that, I haven't really. And maybe I have American Dreams or something from.
I think I gave you some scans or something of one of them.
Yeah, but I don't know. But you're way more into comics than me, so I assume that you're into the video game comics.
Yeah, I've read the Witcher graphic novels. I had the Uncharted comics when they came out, and then they were doing a Division comic I read, and then trying to think what other ones I've had and read. There was a Last of Us. Was there a Last of Us comic? Yeah, there was. Yeah,
I know there was American Dreams, but
yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what I'm thinking.
know
that's all it was. And then the Tomb Raider ones, I've read those. Dark Horse tends to be the video game comic book publisher. They have a lot of them. And this was kind of surprising to see because while I didn't beat Returnal, it seemed like there's a story buried in there somewhere. But I don't. There's a cyberpunk one also for Dark Horse makes. I don't know what it was called. I didn't read that one, but yeah, I don't know. They do a lot of collaborations. You know, it looks like there's some sort of Cuphead thing that they've done. Oh man, they do. I'm looking on their website now. They do a ton of comic stuff, dude. Lots of Witcher stuff. I don't know. It's just interesting. There's an Assassin's Creed hardcover thing they've done. Dark Horse, Minecraft. I'm looking Dragon Age. That's right. They did the Dragon Age thing.
Do you remember when
Horizon?
when Sony did a Uncharted motion comic?
Yeah, it was awesome.
You could download on PS3.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was really strange.
It was really, really cool, man. But anyway, again, yeah, dude, I like this. I don't read comics like I used to. They got to be kind of expensive. I kind of got irritated with Books Galore, which is the company in Erie that I used to get my comics from, just because, like, I live in fucking Meadville, and I'm not giving them, like, $20 to ship my comics, and I'm already giving them X amount of money to be part of their club, and then I'm paying for the comics on top of it. So, like, I would just let my box... Part of being a member is that, like, they put the fucking comics in your box, and that way you don't miss them. And then when you want to go pick them up, you pay for the comics. They hold them for you. They order them specially so that there's enough so that you get the ones you want. And I get they have a business to run, and they probably don't want to get stiffed, and they probably get stiffed all the time by fucking people. But never once have I ever not settled up with them. And maybe they had a new employee or whatever, but they'll send these postcards that are just like, have you forgot about us? You have comics here. You know, you got to come pick them up within, by the end of the month, or we're going to charge you extra, or we're going to do this, or we're going to get rid of them. We're going to put them on the shelf. And it's just like, whoa, that's kind of like abrasive enough. I appreciate the reminder, but never once have I never paid them and shown up when I got the thing. It was kind of the way that I rolled, and I kind of explained to them that I don't live in town, and like for me to drive, an hour and a half round trip to go pick up like 4 G.I. Joe comics that have been sitting in the box for, 3 weeks just seems ridiculous. But I started getting the postcards, and it was like, it's preset, and it's just made up. And it was just like, it looks like you forgot about us. But then someone had the fucking tenacity 2 times now to write, again? ? And it's like, listen, you either fucking want my money or you don't. Like, so I didn't resubscribe, so I'm not.
How long do you wait?
Not that long. Dude, I only, think about how many G.I. Joe comics do you think they make? Not a fuck ton. So I was getting the G.I. Joe comics, so like, if I waited 2 months, I'd maybe have 3 comics.
Yeah, you would think like they should offer a service where it's like maybe they do and you just don't want to pay for it.
Yeah,
it's like,
they said they would ship it, but I'm not paying because then they got to bag and board them, then they got to put them in a thing, and then they got to send them, and then someone's got.
How much would it be?
I don't know.
Did they tell you?
No, but it would definitely be.
Even if
it would be at least $10, dude. I shipped it. I shipped a T-shirt out today, and it cost me $6 plus whatever the fuck it costs for the package. It was like almost $7.
Here's what you're missing, Fred. $10. If it costs you $10 to get that shit shipped to you, you spend more than $10 driving up there and getting those fucking things and coming.
That's why I let them build up in my box.
But you should have just had them ship them to you.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not a member anymore. I like what they're doing up there, but I'm not a member. I don't get comics.
I'm sure that like they probably are struggling.
I was trying to fucking support them.
I get it, but they probably, like you said, they probably get stiffed constantly.
It'd be different if I fucked up once. I had been a member for like 6 or 7 years. I've never stiffed them once. Not one time.
They probably don't differentiate between their members, though, which is
they should.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, they should. They should keep a little like checkbook, like a little. This guy's good. This guy's good for his money. I'm sure they get people in there who's like, I want this, 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 I want that comic, I want that comic, I want this, I want that graphic novel, I want that one. And then they order all this shit, and then the person never fucking shows up, and now they can't sell it because no one wanted that shit. You know what I mean?
The easiest thing for them to do would be for you to just be like, just tell them ahead of time, like, look, I'm coming up every couple of months. I'm not coming up every month.
Put a fucking tag in my bag there, and
put a thing in your file that says he's a 2-monther.
Yeah, right.
And
right, it could be solved. That
stop
simply.
Bitching about it.
Yeah, it really got under my skin, or I just quit renewing it. Anyway, it doesn't even fucking.
Yeah, I get it though. I get it. That's It's one thing where you understand like probably the shit that they have to deal with, but at the same time, it's like bro, like I'm your customer. At least like remember if I tell you as a member that I'm only gonna pick them up once every couple months. And if you can't support that, then just say, hey, you have to pick it up once a month, and give you as the consumer the option to say, okay, then I don't want to be a member, or
right.
Yep, I will commit to coming up once a month. That's the problem with Books Galore, I think, and I have the same issue with them whenever is like they need to just make it hard and fast. Like they don't want to make it hard and fast because they don't want to drive away their customers, but they need to literally just be like, you have to pick up your comics once a month, or we're putting them on the shelf.
They're also like, and this is a stereotype, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking say it, but don't judge me for it. They're a bunch of fucking nerds, man. Like they can't communicate, right? They're socially awkward people. I love them all. They're all great people, but they're socially a little awkward. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like And I love my brother, dude, but he's socially awkward sometimes. And sitting around a game table with him is tough because he has the way that he needs to fucking do things. And if it's not his way, he's setting the board game on fucking fire. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just fucking have fun. But like the Books Galore folks are just they're very kind. They'll get you whatever. I'm not throwing any shade. I love the store. They've got video game fucking memorabilia. They've got not a lot of they don't have video games. They have memorabilia there. They've got board game shit. They got minis. They have a huge, amazing used collection of books and comics called The Attic. And they fucking have a ton of all your new comics. They're supporting art. They're supporting local people. I fucking love it. But when it comes to just fucking customer service, when it comes to like, can't we just have a dialogue about this? It's fucking weird. Like, why do you gotta write again on the postcard? That comes off a certain fucking way. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like, just don't fucking be that way. Like, if you want to open a dialogue with me and say, listen, Fred, we really appreciate your patronage. We're not even gonna get nitty gritty why this has to be done this way, but we have a system. And like you said, Jake, like here's the deal. Like either you have to come in once a month and get your things. Like the fucking soup Nazi in Seinfeld, right? It's like, no soup for you. You follow my rules or no soup for you. It's like, you follow our rules or no fucking comics. But the thing is I'm paying for the service. I'm paying for customer service. I'm paying.
But that should be, I mean, but even still, like, it's okay for them to put, like, yeah, you give them whatever it is, $5 a month, let's say. But it's like, and it's okay if, like, okay, for $5 a month, we will hold your shit for, let's say, 2 months.
Right.
But it's okay for them to put a stipulation on it. They don't have to hold it forever.
That's fine, but be clear about the stipulation.
But be clear about it. Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of these things.
Well, they're also like on the flip side, they give you like a 20% off on your birthday, right? So if I remember, I could go up there this month and get 20% off a graphic novel if I wanted, which is a really good deal. But they don't tell you that you have that. So if you're like me, again, the problem's me. I don't live up there. I don't go there frequently. I'm the problem. I understand this, but I'm trying to support the place. Problem is, I don't get a notice about the 20% off. Let's hypothetically, because this has happened in the past, I don't show up in May. I show up at the tail end of June, and they pull my books out, and they go, oh, it looks like you missed your birthday. Really, we shouldn't give you the 20% off because you're in June now. But is there something you'd like to use it on today? And I'll look around. I'm like, nah, I didn't plan on looking. I didn't do my research. I'm not. And I'll be like, nah, that's all right. And then they feel like...
Did they just apply it to one of the comics that you're picking up?
Thank you. No. It's got to be a trade paperback or something. It's got to be like a special thing, I think. So... It's really fucking weird, man. And like, it's not, they'll send me a postcard to tell me I didn't pick up my fucking shit, but they won't send me a postcard to say, hey, here's 20% off for my birthday. And that's part of the rewards. And it's like, again, the problem's me. I should just fucking remember, but I don't care the fuck enough to remember these things. And to me, stopping at Books Galore was always just kind of like an afterthought. It was an ancillary thing. It was like, oh, I'm in fucking Erie for a gig. I'll swing by Books Galore, or oh, I got to pick up some groceries, or oh, I'm up here because I got to get shit from World of Music and get some guitar shit, or it was always something like that. It was never like I'm going to Erie to get my fucking comics because I have to read them tonight. Like I didn't fucking give a shit. Half of the comics I bought for them, I still haven't fucking read. They're just sitting in my closet. Like honestly, I was just doing it to fucking support them and to have some G.I. Joe comics lying around for when I got bored. But like, then they fucking busted out that again. I'm so, dude, I've talked about this for a couple times on the show, and every time we're talking about it, I get fucking mad. So we'll just let it go.
It's over.
Yeah, the relationship has ended. Books Galore, it's been real. It's been fucking fun. All right, let's talk about new games. There is a list of new games coming out here. So we're at a minute 19 in the show. And May 8th, we're getting The Prisoner of the Night on PS5, PS4. May 9th, we're getting Animal Well on PS5. Crow Country on PS5, PS4. Gift on PS5. Imagine Earth on PS5, PS4. Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle Chomp Champs on PS5, PS4. Rainbow Cotton on PS5 and PS4. None of that does anything for me. Crow Country sounds cool. Crow Country. I want to look that up.
I've heard. I think I saw like this Animal Well game looks kind of interesting, but
it's Crow Country is an abandoned theme park that you show up in 1990, and you're looking for answers, and you have to go into the deep darkness of Crow Country to find them. Interesting. Yeah, it's on Steam. Yeah, the graphics look really cool on this, though. They look kind of like Tim Burton-esque.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something for somebody.
Maybe there's something there. Animal Well, did you look into that, see what that's about?
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting, and they just had a thing on the PlayStation blog about this. That's why I thought about it. But it's got a very cool pixel art graphic style. It's like a platformer kind of game.
Cool. All right, brother. Well, that's it for the show. I've got nothing else for anybody. I'm kind of spent, as the kids say. I'm cooked at the moment. So we're going to jump right to the closing. Jake, do you have anything you'd like to say before we head out for the week?
I don't think so. I think it's another week, another podcast. I'm pretty sure it's going to probably rain a bunch. I don't know, which sucks.
I've got yeah. Go ahead.
I thought May was supposed to contain the flowers from April showers, but yeah, it's just we're just getting tornadoes and all kinds of crazy shit. So who fucking cares? It's just the end of the world. Not allowed to do anything nice.
Yeah.
And the 1 day a month that it is nice, I can't do anything because I have to mow my fucking lawn or do some other shit that I'm behind on.
Nothing fucking matters, dude.
Who cares? This might as well be Fallout.
We're all going to die anyhow.
Yeah. The world sucks.
And we're never getting another Uncharted game.
On that cheering note, I do think we'll get another Uncharted game.
Not before we die.
Well, maybe not before we die. But I don't know.
I got two quick things for the listeners. Two quick things. I wanted to announce that if you're interested, Jake, not you, but the listeners, if you want to support my music projects, I now officially have Fred Oakman in the Flood t-shirts, and I have Fred Oakman in the Flood koozies that you can get on my online store, fredoakman.com. So if you want to support me in another way, you can do that. And Jake, I'm using the Flood because we've never had Fred Oakman in the Flood t-shirts. We've had Fred Oakman t-shirts. I didn't ask anybody to kick in any money, though. So we'll see how these run. And if they sell well, maybe we'll try to do something else. They're not cheap to make, I'll tell you that. But they look awesome. And they're nerdy. They're nerdy looking. So the other thing is this. Let me say this. The podcast, I don't think we have enough listeners to justify merch. But I was thinking about how cool it would be to have PSS's awesome koozies.
It would be kind of neat. Why the hell not?
Well, because they cost money to make, and if we can't sell them, then we're just spending koozies to have for ourselves.
Remember when we used to have that Zazzle store?
Mm-hmm. We should do a made-to-order store, dude. But I can get koozies made if I get about $3 a piece at a low amount, like $3 a piece to make. And one color, I could make a PS This Is Awesome koozie for just a regular 12-ounce can. And I'd probably have to turn around and sell them for all my trouble for like that one there, except it would be PS This Is Awesome. Hold it in front of your camera so people can see it. This is the original Fred Oakman in the Flood koozie. The new ones are black, and it's the heart with the logo, the lightning bolt through it, and it says Fred Oakman in the Flood in the cool vintage font, and underneath it says Counting on Snake Eyes, and then it says Meadville, PA under the lightning bolt heart, which is where we're from. which I think is awesome because I've never seen a band not from a big city like put their city on there. They'll like be like Pittsburgh, PA, or be like fucking like Nashville, Tennessee. Like put fucking Meadville, PA on the koozie, which is fucking rad. I love that. Anyways, we could do P.S. This is awesome koozies for your campfire endeavors this weekend or this summer, listeners. So if you truly would buy one or several, probably at about $5 to $6 a piece, so that we could not really turn a profit, but pay ourselves for the time it would take to make them and do all the work on the back end. Let us know. Write us at psthisisawesome@gmail.com or write in the comments if you would be interested in something like that. I don't think shirts are necessary. They cost way. It's too big of a financial risk for us. We're too small potatoes. But if you want a koozie, maybe we can up the tier to like, dude, what if we did that? What if we upped the tier to like a $3 a month tier and gave a free koozie away? Do you think people would go for that?
Maybe.
Let us know what it's going to take to have some koozies.
Or if you have
made.
other merch ideas, if you want a P.S. This is awesome themed Rolex watch,
yeah,
we could do that.
Or like one of those rubber holders that hold change.
Yeah.
Remember those
from
fucking
like
things?
fucking 1985? Yeah.
Or like, you remember this?
a lot of people probably don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's like a little mouth that opens. It's like made out of rubber.
The little change purse. Yeah, those things were.
Dude, we could bring that
be
back.
shit.
That'd be fucking dope.
It would be cool. I bet people would get a kick out of that if they knew what it was. Because they were all the same like little rubber thing, and then you could like on the back side that didn't open, you just stencil your fucking company name on it.
Yeah, there was always an advertisement for like a bank or like a local law firm or something. What else could we have made? We had really nice mugs made at one point, like these on Zazzle. They weren't like these, but if you're interested, they cost a little bit. The problem is that like there's some cost involved, and we didn't see any of the money. It really just went, if you want to have the merch, we'll put the logo and shit out there for you, and you can design your own shit. I didn't really like Zazzle's website, but like we could probably put some time into getting some nice little logos made up where there's no real money to be made on our end. But if you're interested in PS's awesome merch and you think you would like it, I mean, I've got so many fucking stickers. I got a killer deal on these stickers. I've got all these stickers, but no one's subscribing to Patreon. So we have some people, but we don't have nearly enough to justify me having all these stickers. But I'm trying to
buy a fucking koozie, get a free sticker, my dude.
Yeah, buy a fucking koozie, we'll give you a sticker. We'll sell the koozies for $30. No, but we'll sell you a set of 4 for $30. For $20. For $20. One for 6, 4 for 20. That's a good deal.
I think, dude, some people are really into merch. Like I love t-shirts, but I don't buy them ever because I have shirts that I wear for work, and literally 80% of my time is wearing my work shirts. Because I just wear them to work, and then after work, I'm wearing them when I'm like, I don't change, so I just wear them while I'm mowing the lawn and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And like, so the only time I ever wear like a graphic tee would be like on a weekend or when we play a show or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, over the course of a weekend, I can wear 3 fucking t-shirts, and then by next weekend, they're all clean again. So it's like, I have to store all of this shit. And then I might wear them once if I have, a bunch of them. I might wear them like once every couple months or something.
Dude,
it's
keep
like,
talking. I'm gonna grab a Fred Oakman shirt to show the people how good they fucking look. Keep talking about your shirt thing.
I'm trying to downsize my my situation here with all the junk that I've got laying around my house, and I don't know. I just think that having tons and tons of stuff. But these t-shirts that Fred got made are pretty fucking rad. I'm not really like, I don't love white t-shirts, but I will say that the graphic is pretty cool. So, I was just lamenting about the fact that I love the graphic that you've come up with for the t-shirt.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's white is a problem.
It's not white. It's like a neutral colored shirt. It's not white.
What does that mean?
It's like what color are your walls behind you?
Like beige?
Yeah, it's like a beige shirt.
Oh, interesting. That's not too bad. I just like shirts that are white. I fucking ruin.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's not white. It's not white. I made sure it wasn't white.
Okay. The image you sent us in the text made it look like it was white.
Ah, interesting. I don't think it's white. It's a heather. You can't have a heather white shirt. But it's ring spun super soft. So here's the koozie. It says Fred Oakman in the Flood. And I don't know how well you can see it. Where the fuck is my camera? Jake, you can see that.
Yeah, I can
Looks
see
pretty dope. I've got 2 cameras running. And then the shirt, I bought a fucking... Dude, I made a really nice shirt display for a merch table. So you know those shelves that you can get at like Home Depot that are just made out of fucking wire? Those wire shelving things that are like white. So I had to get that angle grinder and I just fucking cut it in half. And then I zip tied it together, the 2 halves. And now it just folds and opens. So it can just sit on a table. And then I bought this fucking shirt display, so it's legit. So it just fucking hangs now.
There you go. Looking like a real band.
Yeah, so that's the shirt.
Have a shirt display and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking rad. So the shirt display costs $30 for this thing. It is heavy duty. And the thing is like there's like a thing inside that keeps the shirt nice and flat so you can display it. But I'm stoked to put this out when we fucking play shows. Now I want to get
those colors are rad. They look way better than in the picture you sent.
Yeah, dude, it's a great shirt, dude. If that doesn't fucking sell, I don't know what will. What will? And there's like for anyone who can't tell, it's where the fuck is my camera here? It's like a wise man. Our buddy Mike Fritz drew, and there's like a wolf, a pet wolf with like a sack around it, like a carrying bag. And the wise man has like a backpack with like some old books in the back. And then he's got an owl on his shoulder. And all of their eyes are just like whited out. No pupils. And there's like this fucking crazy moon eclipse thing in the background. And he's got a staff with a crystal. It makes no fucking sense for Fred Oakman in the Flood. But it's so cool looking that like it doesn't even fucking matter. And then our name is like in vintage font, which I think looks fucking dope. It's almost Fallout-y looking in a weird way. Like old timey.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's a rad design. So, yeah, my buddy Mike designed that. And I was like, yo, dude, do you have anything I can use for a flyer? And then he gave me that for the Titusville show. And I was like, this is way too fucking good not to repurpose somehow. And I was like, I'm going to try to make this a t-shirt. And it's only 3 colors. So it wasn't super expensive to make. Really, most of your money gets sunk into the quality of shirt. Those are Bella and Canvas Heather Prism shirts. And they're like super nice shirts, pre-shrunk, side seamed. They're really nice. So, yeah, dude, side stitched. They're nice. But yeah, so I'm selling them for $20 on my website. So if you want to pick one up and support me, and Jake, you can. I mean, Jake's not going to give me the money, but it'll go towards the fucking band. We'll buy some monitors, maybe. We need some monitors for a sound setup. So, anyways, all that stuff goes right back into the music stuff that I do. But yeah, anyways, enough about me, man. I did have something else, but I can't remember what it was. It doesn't even matter. Let's get the fart out of Dodge. So, thanks for tuning in to episode 327. P.S. This is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. We'll be back next week. If you're a patron of the show, you get the show early most days. Today, not so much. Lately, we've been pretty bad at it, to be honest. It's been tough. I'm in a golf league. I play on Mondays. Recording this on Tuesday. You'll get it by Wednesday. But yeah, they air for everybody on Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk again later. So, like Jazz Punk, Jersey Devil, and Jack Move. P.S.
Yes.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.